Hi Graham, it's your greatest Aunt Dana here, and of course your cousin dog Rudy, and we are here to wish you a very happy 7th birthday. Hope you're having a great day so far. For your birthday this year, I have a very fun story that I'm going to read to you. It's called My Mouth is a Volcano, and it's written by Julia Cook and illustrated by Carrie Hartman. My name is Lewis. People say I erupt a lot. I don't think I do. I have a lot to say, and all of my words are very important to me. When other people talk, words just pop into my head. Then they slide down onto my tongue. My tummy starts to rumble, and then it starts to grumble. My words begin to wiggle, and then they do the jiggle. My tongue pushes all of my important words up against my teeth, and then I erupt. Words just explode out of my mouth. My mouth is a volcano. In class, my teacher says that when we want to say something, we are supposed to look at her, raise our hand, and wait until she calls on us. I tried that. After I waited patiently for what seemed like 62 years, my important words slid down from my head onto my tongue. My tummy started to rumble, and then it started to grumble. My words began to wiggle, and then they did the jiggle. My tongue pushed all of my important words into my teeth, and my volcano erupted. Lewis, my teacher said, I know what you are saying is very important to you, but since it is not an emergency, you'll have to wait until I call on you. It was my volcano's fault. During story time, we were sitting on the rug listening to Miss Polly read us a story about planting trees. All of a sudden, I thought about the time my grandpa and I planted 6 trees in his front yard. My important words slid down from my head onto my tongue. My tummy started to rumble, and then it started to grumble. My words began to wiggle, and then they did the jiggle. My tongue pushed all of my important words into my teeth, and my volcano erupted. Miss Polly asked if I wanted to go to the calm down corner. It was my volcano's fault. During dinner, Mom and Dad were talking about paying the bills. Then I thought about my friend Bill. Bill can blow a bubble inside of a bubble when he chews 2 pieces of bubble gum. Now that is really important. My important words about Bill slid down from my head onto my tongue. My tummy started to rumble, and then it started to grumble. My words began to wiggle, and then they did the jiggle. My tongue pushed all of my important words into my teeth, and my volcano erupted. Lewis, my mom said, you're interrupting. If someone else is talking and you don't have an emergency, you have to wait your... But Mom, my words, they slide down from my head onto my tongue, then my tummy starts to... Lewis, you just did it again. Why don't you go upstairs and get started on your homework? I'll be up soon. But it was my volcano's fault. The next day at school was my very important day. I had been waiting for about 126 weeks to be the student star of my class. This was my special moment. I got to share a poster with my class that had pictures of all my favorite things. I stood up in front of my class and began to tell them about the time I went fishing. Halfway through my story, Richard started to tell everyone about when he went deep sea fishing in Mexico. His story must have been better than mine because everyone started to look at him. He was stealing my words. Richard, said my teacher, you just interrupted Lewis. Please wait until he has finished talking, and then he might call on you. I couldn't believe Richard. He erupted me. That really made me angry. After talking about my fishing trip, I started to explain the x-ray of my broken arm. Just as I was getting to the good part, Courtney started to tell the class about when she broke her leg. "Courtney," said my teacher, "you just interrupted Lewis. Please wait until he is finished talking, and then he might call on you." I couldn't believe Courtney. She started talking right during my 15 minutes of fame. She ruined my important words. She almost stole my moment. When I got home, I told my mom about being the student star and about how Richard and Courtney erupting me. "Now you see how we feel when you interrupt us," said my mom. I never thought about that. I just get so excited. My words pop into my head, then they slide down onto my tongue. My tummy starts to rumble, and then it starts to grumble. My words begin to wiggle, and then they do the jiggle. Then my tongue pushes all of my important words up against my teeth, and I erupt. Words just explode out of my mouth. My mouth is a volcano. "Maybe Richard and Courtney have volcanoes in their mouths too," my mom said. I never thought about that. "Lewis, the next time your important words are pushed into your teeth by your tongue, bite down hard and don't let them out. Then take a deep breath and push all of your words out through your nose. Then, when it is your turn to talk, take a deep breath and breathe them back into your mouth." "Will that work?" I asked. "I think you can learn how to make it work," said my mom. That night at dinner, my sister Sylvia was in the middle of a long story when my important words slid down from my head and my volcano started to do its thing. Just as my tongue started to push my words out through my teeth, I bit down really hard. Then I breathed all my words out through my nose. I took a deep breath, and back in went my words. I was amazed that they had just hung around outside my mouth and didn't float away. When Sylvia was all done talking, I told my story and didn't erupt anyone. After that, I never erupted again. Well, except for the time Bill's bubblegum got stuck in my hair. But that was a real emergency. Okay, Graham, when I come back, we're going to do a science project. I bet you can't guess on what subject. We are going to learn about volcanoes. So hold tight. I will be right back. Hi, Graham. Okay, I am back. Let's talk about volcanoes. There are 3 different types of volcanoes. There are extinct volcanoes, which they believe will never erupt again. There are dormant volcanoes, which they believe may erupt again. And then there are active volcanoes that have erupted recently. But when talking about volcanoes, recently means in the last 14,000 years. So that is a very long time for us, but considering how old the Earth is, that's not very much time at all. So there are about 1,500 active volcanoes here on Earth, and about 80 of those are actually found under the ocean, and about 15 to 20 volcanoes erupt daily here on Earth. So there's a volcano that I think you are familiar with, an active volcano, which is found in Washington State, called Mount Rainier. And that volcano is believed to have erupted the last time about 1,000 years ago. So I have a trivia question for you. Where do you think the tallest volcano exists? Can you take a guess? Any guesses? Well, if you guessed anywhere on Earth, that is not the case. The tallest volcano found in the universe is found on Mars, and it stands at about 72,000 feet in the air. The tallest volcano here on Earth is found in Hawaii, and that volcano is about half the size at 33,500 feet. And the Mount Rainier is about half that size at about 14,500 feet. Okay, so why do volcanoes erupt? So inside the Earth, there's something called magma, and magma is liquid rock. And as that liquid rock rises through the chimney of the volcano, gases start to form and expand until it pushes that magma out of the volcano. And as that liquid rock runs down the side of the volcano, that is what we call lava. And as that lava cools and hardens, it forms the volcano. So the more times the volcano erupts, the taller the volcano will be. All right, so I'm going to take a quick break and get ready for our science experiment, and I will be right back. Okay, Graham, let's get to the science experiment. All right, so I have made this model of a volcano, and how I did this is I used a plastic water bottle for the chimney, and then I wrapped newspaper around it using tape and glue until it formed into what looks like a volcano, and then I used acrylic paint to paint it. So what we're going to do to show or to simulate how a volcano erupts, it's something pretty familiar that I've used in other science experiments. We're going to combine baking soda and vinegar. And if you remember, when baking soda and vinegar are mixed together, it forms carbon dioxide gas. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to fill the volcano. Whoops. I'm going to use about 2/3 of a water bottle of water. And then I'm going to add the baking soda. I used about, 4 or 5 tablespoons. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of dish soap so it makes it pretty foamy. And then I'm going to put the vinegar in. And so the vinegar, I put a little bit of food coloring so it looks more like lava. But I also heated it up. And what I'm hoping will happen when you heat it up, it makes that reaction, the chemical reaction, even stronger. So we might get a bigger explosion. So here I go. You ready? There it goes. Oh my gosh, look at all that lava. There's the volcano and a mess. Ooh, the vinegar gets you too. All right, Graham, I hope you enjoyed the story and the experiment. I just hope you had the best birthday today. Please give your mom and dad and your sister a big hug and a kiss for me. Happy birthday. I love you. Bye.